Yeah, that's the Maximum Security Terrorism Confinement Center called CECOT up in down in El Salvador. That has variety here, popularity here. How would you say that this prison has deterred criminals in El Salvador from doing what they've been doing? And do you think that something similar would work here in the United
We in our country have spent many years coddling prisoners, and I'll say on both sides of it is that there's so let's talk about the conditions in that prison in El Salvador. Is there's no cell phones, no television, no radio. They sleep without pillows and mattresses. They're in 80-person cells. So each cell, it's a large warehouse that we were brought into. Each cell, there were, if I remember correctly, 32 cells. And each of those cells hold 80 people. And the beds were metal frames that were stacked four high, kind of front to the back of these cells, with two toilets and two water troughs inside of these facilities. And in other words, these prisoners are not coddled. They are not brought in to get law degrees. As you may know, our current prison environment is many of these prisoners end up getting law degrees or the equivalent of such, because there's access to all sorts of library books, and these people study all the time. They file their own complaints against the system and their own appeals. So we've spent, and I want all people treated humanely, but I think we've gone too far in our country. And President Bukele in El Salvador has demonstrated in a desperate circumstance that actually crime doesn't pay in El Salvador. And he's doing two things. One, he has imprisoned many of these individuals that were ruining his country. But in addition, he's made it so hard that actually a lot of the terrible criminals, they've left the country and gone to easier marks in other countries.